Remember to give the video a thumbs up, share your insights in the comments, and subscribe to keep up with our newest tales. On a Tuesday morning, the world awoke under a blanket of gray skies, with a gentle drizzle whispering against the windows. It was the sort of day that beckoned you to linger in the warmth of your bed, cradling a steaming cup of tea and losing yourself in the pages of a captivating book. At the age of 52, I found myself residing in a charming little house on Maplewood Lane. It was a street where familiarity lingered in the air, everyone recognized one another. Yet the depths of true connection seemed just out of reach, if that makes sense. We waved, shared friendly words, and now and then borrowed a cup of sugar. But that was the extent of our connection. Life unfolded in a familiar rhythm, wrapped in comfort, yet, if I dare to admit, tinged with a hint of solitude. On that particular morning, I found myself seated at my kitchen table, gazing out the window at the garden, drenched in rain. The hydrangeas unfurled their blue petals, weighed down by the gentle kiss of water, while the oak tree in the backyard danced softly in the breeze. As I sat there, enveloped in my musings and cradling a warm cup of chamomile tea, a sudden knock echoed through the stillness, drawing me back to the present moment. At that moment, I found myself taken by surprise, for I had not anticipated the arrival of anyone. In the bustling city, my son David was immersed in his own adventures, while my friends were caught up in the tapestry of their families and careers. After a brief pause, I placed my cup aside and made my way to the door. As I swung the door open, a wave of surprise washed over me at the sight of my neighbor, Mr. Thompson, standing on my doorstep. He stood tall, a figure of grace in his late 60s, adorned with silver hair that shimmered like moonlight and kind eyes that held the warmth of countless stories he'd raised the door to down. And we'd shared a few words now and then over the years, but nothing beyond that. In his hands, he cradled a small, wrapped package, his demeanor tinged with an unusual nervousness that seemed out of character for him. "Good morning, Linda," he said, his voice rich with warmth yet tinged with uncertainty. "I trust I'm not interrupting your moment." "Not in the slightest," I responded, a smile gracing my lips. "How may I assist you today, Mr. Thompson?" "Please, call me Henry," he said, a smile returning to his face. "I've observed you tending to your garden quite a bit these days. Your talent for nurturing plants is truly remarkable." I let out a soft laugh. "It certainly fills my time with purpose. It brings me a sense of calm." With a subtle nod, he extended the package forward. "As I wandered through the farmer's market this weekend, a thought of you crossed my mind. It's a small tale, just a little something to add a spark to your day." I found myself utterly astonished. It had been years since anyone had bestowed upon me a gift of such significance. As I grasped the package, I could sense its weight resting in my hands, a tangible connection to the mystery it held within. "Gratitude flows to you, Henry. How generous of you." He shuffled his feet, a hint of bashfulness in his demeanor. I see it's time for you to return to your morning adventures. Wishing you a wonderful day, Linda." I, too, remarked, observing him as he pivoted and strolled back down the path toward the sidewalk. With a gentle click, I shut the door behind me and carefully peeled away the layers of the package. Within lay a stunning ceramic planter, adorned with intricate flowers and winding vines. It was precisely the sort of thing I would have chosen for myself. I glided my fingers across the sleek surface, a whirlwind of emotions swirling within my: gratitude, curiosity, and an elusive feeling that danced just out of reach. As the afternoon sun began to wane, I felt a gentle urge to plant a delicate fern in the planter, envisioning it nestled on my porch, bringing a touch of life to the space. As I toiled, my gaze wandered down the street, drawn to Henry's house like a moth to a flame. It dawned on me that my knowledge of him was quite limited, aside from the fact that he was a widower and had resided on Maplewood Lane for just as long as I had. The following day, I set about crafting a delightful batch of oatmeal cookies, a cherished recipe passed down from my grandmother, and made my way to Henry's house. As he opened the door, a look of surprise danced across his face, quickly followed by a warm smile of delight. I extended my hand, offering the plate of cookies, and expressed my gratitude for the lovely planter. It was a truly considerate present. He smiled, the corners of his eyes crinkling with warmth. "Your gesture was unexpected, yet it truly means a lot to me. Would you care to join me for a delightful cup of coffee?" After a brief pause, I gave a nod of agreement. "I would be delighted by that." His abode exuded warmth and charm, with shelves brimming with tales lining the walls and a crackling fireplace casting a cozy glow. In the living room, at his kitchen table, we found ourselves immersed in conversation, the aroma of coffee swirling around us as we shared tales of gardening, adventures, and travel, and the stories that captivated us in our favorite books. To my astonishment, the ease of our conversation flowed effortlessly, and I found myself enveloped in a sense of comfort while in his company. As I strolled home that evening, it dawned on me just how deeply I had longed for this kind of connection. It was more than merely the present or the sweet treats. It was the way Henry had paused to truly see me, to recognize me as more than just the woman who resided two doors down. That night, as I lay in bed, I reflected on the surprising warmth of my neighbor's gesture and how it had moved me. In an unforeseen way, it was a modest act. Yet it unlocked a gateway to something fresh, something I had not known I was longing for. The days that followed Henry's unexpected gift carried a certain magic, as if the world had subtly transformed, unveiling hues I had never truly seen before. As the rain subsided, the sun emerged, bathing Maplewood Lane in a warm, golden light. The garden appeared to awaken with the shift, the flowers bursting forth in vibrant hues, the leaves taking on a richer shade of green. Or perhaps it was merely my perspective, viewing the world through a fresh lens. My thoughts began to wander to Henry with increasing frequency. Our chat over coffee flowed effortlessly, like a gentle stream, so organic and unforced. It was more than merely the subjects we explored. It was the way he absorbed my words, truly absorbed them, as if each syllable I uttered held significance. It dawned on me just how deeply I had longed for that kind of connection, until it appeared before my eyes a few days later. As I tended to the roses in the garden, the sound of footsteps on the sidewalk caught my attention. As I lifted my gaze, there was Henry approaching, hands tucked into his pockets, a smile lighting up his face. "Good morning, Linda," he greeted, pausing at the boundary of my yard. "Behold the beauty of those roses, captivating in their splendor. Your skills are truly remarkable." I cleaned my hands on my apron and returned the smile. "Gratitude to you, Henry. They are my greatest treasure. Would you care to step inside for a more intimate glimpse?" He nodded, and I guided him through the gate, highlighting the various rich reds, the gentle pinks, the velvety whites. He absorbed every word, inquiring thoughtfully and marveling at the blossoms. He paused for a moment and then shared, "You know, I've always dreamed of having a garden like this. But patience has never been my strong suit." Her dedication was truly admirable. "It's not as challenging as it may seem," I responded. "All it requires is a touch of patience and a sprinkle of affection." He let out a soft laugh. "Perhaps you might share a lesson or two with me." I paused for a brief moment, then replied, "I would be delighted to. How about you swing by tomorrow morning so we can embark on our adventure together?" His eyes sparkled with excitement. "I would be delighted by that. Thank you, Linda." As dawn broke, Henry made his entrance, punctual as ever, clad in a well-worn pair of jeans and a cozy flannel shirt. With a gentle gesture, I offered him a pair of gardening gloves, guiding him through the art of preparing the soil for planting. We toiled together, sharing stories and laughter as we unearthed the soil, nestled the seeds, and quenched their thirst. To my delight, it turned out to be quite enjoyable, and I discovered that I relished his company far more than I had anticipated. As the days transformed into weeks, our gardening sessions blossomed into a cherished routine. In the early hours, we would gather, occasionally at my place, other times at his, diving into the tasks that awaited our attention. It transcended the mere presence of plants. It was about the dialogues we shared, the moments we cherished together, and the deepening bond that blossomed between us. One afternoon, after we had completed the task of planting a vibrant row of tulips in his backyard, Henry proposed that we pause for a moment and enjoy the serenity of the porch. He poured a pitcher of iced tea and we settled into the shade, savoring our drinks as we observed the birds dancing around the yard. "You know," he said after a while, "I've lived on this street for over 20 years and I've never really gotten to know my neighbors. It seems I've always walked my own path, a solitary figure in a world bustling with connection." I nodded, fully grasping the essence of his words. "I understand your perspective. One can easily become immersed in their own universe, overlooking the fact that there are souls just beyond the threshold." He gazed at me, his expression contemplative. "It brings me joy to see you here, Linda. This place has been transformed into a home once more, thanks to you." His words resonated within me, stirring emotions that brought a lump to my throat. "Gratitude to you, Henry, that holds great significance." We lingered in a tranquil hush, the sort of serene quiet that requires no embellishment of speech. As the sun kissed my face with its warmth and the breeze whispered softly around me, I found myself enveloped in a rare moment of tranquility, a feeling that had eluded me for far too long. As the weeks unfolded, Henry and I found ourselves drawing nearer. We began to weave together a tapestry of insights beyond mere gardening tips. We exchanged tales of our journeys, our kin, our aspiration. It came to my attention that he had once walked the halls as a teacher before hanging up his chalk, that he had a deep affection for the smooth sounds of jazz, and that his heart held a tender place for the charm of classic films. He shared with me the tale of his beloved wife, Margaret, and the deep ache of her absence in his life. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a warm glow around us, he spoke softly. She was the love of my life. We sat together on the porch, lost in the moment. Never did I imagine I would encounter someone capable of stirring such feelings within me once more. I gazed at him, my heart heavy with the sorrow woven into his words. I comprehend. It's a challenge to part ways. Someone dear to your heart. He nodded, his gaze wandering far away, yet I believe she would find joy in witnessing me in this light, sharing moments with someone who brings a smile to my face. His words lingered in my mind long after he had departed that night. As I reclined in bed, my gaze fixed upon the ceiling, I found myself lost in thoughts of Henry and the surprising bond we had forged. It was an unexpected twist in my journey, yet it grew to hold significant meaning in my life. The tale of my existence. As I gently slipped into slumber, my mind wandered to the possibilities that awaited us on this unfolding adventure. Life often presents us with challenges, doesn't it? Just when you believe you've established your ground, an unexpected twist arrives to stir the pot. For Henry and me, that something was a tempest, a grand one. As September drew to a close, the air was filled with an unexpected warmth, a gentle embrace that lingered longer than usual for this time of year. The leaves on the trees began their transformation, adorning the neighborhood in hues of gold, as if nature itself was crafting a masterpiece. And crimson, Henry and I found ourselves entwined in each other's company, not merely tending to the garden but also savoring meals, enjoying films, and embarking on delightful day trips to charming nearby towns. It seemed as though we were crafting something extraordinary, something genuine. But then the tempest arrived. It began with a low, ominous rumble, a distant echo of thunder, accompanied by a dark line of clouds creeping across the horizon. As the evening approached, the wind began to howl and the rain cascaded from the sky in heavy torrents. I found myself at the window of my living room, observing the trees dance and the rain relentlessly hammer against the glass. Crystal. The power flickered, a brief dance of light, once, twice, and then it vanished entirely, casting the house into an enveloping darkness. I searched for a flashlight, my hands clumsily navigating the darkness, and lit a few candles, determined to create a warm glow amidst the shadows. Yet, as the tempest howled and roared, an unsettling sensation took root deep within my chest, refusing to let go. Suddenly, a thunderous crash echoed through the air, accompanied by the sharp, jarring sound of wood splintering apart. My heart soared, finding its way to my throat. I snatched my raincoat and flashlight, bursting outside as the wind tousled my hair and the rain poured down round me, drenching my garments in an instant. As I ventured towards the sound, it led me to Henry's house, where the origin of the noise revealed itself before my eyes. A great oak tree in his backyard had met a fierce fate, struck by lightning and tumbling down, shattering a section of his roof in its wake. My stomach plummeted. Once upon a time, there was a character named Henry, I called out, hurrying to his front door. I struck it with fervor, my heart pounding in my chest. Henry, are you all right? The door creaked open, revealing him, visibly shaken yet miraculously unscathed. Linda, he said, his voice laced with concern. I'm doing well, but oh, that treeite crashed right through the roof. As I crossed the threshold, I illuminated the space with my flashlight, casting beams of light that danced across the shadows. The destruction was more severe than I had anticipated. A mighty tree had burst through the corner of the living room, scattering debris in every direction. The rain cascaded through the gaping hole in the roof, drenching the carpet and saturating the furniture with its relentless downpour. I took hold of his arm, urgency lacing my words. We must get you out of here. Safety is not guaranteed. He paused, surveying the chaos that surrounded him. But my humble abode. Text, I can help you repair your home, I interjected. Alas, this is not a place for you to linger through the night. Come on, you're joining us. To my abode. He chose silence, with urgency in our steps. I assisted him in collecting a handful of necessities, a few articles of clothing, his vital medications, and a cherished photograph of Margaret. Together, we dashed back to my home, the relentless rain pouring down round us. Once we crossed the threshold, I offered him a towel and a fresh set of clothes, a gesture of warmth in the midst of the storm. Go and change, I urged. Allow me to brew a delightful cup of tea. When he finally descended the stairs, I had a pot of chamomile tea gently steeping on the stove, and the warm glow of a fire danced in the fireplace. He settled onto the couch, a weary expression etched across his face, as if the weight of the world rested heavily upon his shoulders. Thank you, Linda, he murmured softly. Without your rival, I can't imagine the path I would have taken. I offered him a steaming mug of tea and settled down beside him, ready to share a moment together. No need for gratitude, that's the essence of friendship. We lingered in quietude for a time, attuned to the tempest raging beyond and the gentle crackle of the flames. The power was still out, yet the candles flickered with a warm glow, wrapping the room in a cozy embrace. A stark contrast to the chaos that raged beyond the walls. "You know," Henry began after a moment. "This brings to mind a night I spent with Margaret during the hurricane. In our youth, newly united in marriage, we found ourselves with little to our names. Yet we were together, and that was all we needed." A smile crept across my face as a lump began to form in my throat. "She seems like a truly remarkable woman." "She was," he said, his voice gentle, and he brought to mind her in countless ways. His words took me by surprise, and I could feel the warmth rising to my cheeks. "Henry, He reached over and took my hand, his grip enveloping me with warmth and assurance. "Linda, I understand this may not be the best moment, but I feel compelled to share this. The moments we've shared over these past few months have woven a tapestry of meaning that transcends mere words. Your presence has rekindled the brightness in my world, and I am determined to hold onto that light." I gazed into his eyes, beholding the authenticity and openness present in that moment. My heart raced. But for the first time in ages, it wasn't fueled by fear or doubt. It emerged from hope. "Henry," I whispered gently, "you have illuminated my existence as well. It wasn't until you arrived that I truly understood the depth of my longing for someone like you." He smiled, a gentle, radiant smile that filled my heart with warmth. "Perhaps we can unravel this mystery side by side." I nodded, a wave of tranquility washing over me. In unity. The tempest howled beyond the walls, yet within, it was as if the sun had broken through the clouds. We lingered in that moment, fingers intertwined, sharing whispers that danced through the night, until the rain ceased its symphony and the dawn's first light began to break. As the first light of dawn gently seeped through the windows, a new day began to unfold. The morning after the storm emerged radiant and clear, a day that stirs the soul and whispers of new beginnings. The scent of damp earth and fallen leaves filled the air, while the sunlight pouring through my windows felt like a whispered promise. Henry and I gathered at the kitchen table, the aroma of coffee swirling around us as we savored toast spread with jam, the memories of the night before lingering vividly in our thoughts. "I ought to reach out to the insurance company," Henry remarked, shattering the cozy stillness. "And perhaps an expert to assess the extent of the damage." I leaned in, my fingers gently wrapping around his hand as I nodded in understanding. "We'll navigate this journey, taking each step as it comes." He smiled, his eyes glowing with a heartfelt appreciation. "Your presence, Linda, is something I can't imagine living without." "There's no need for you to discover that," I said, returning the smile. In the days that followed, we joined forces to restore Henry's house to its former glory. Once upon a time, an insurance adjuster arrived to evaluate the damage, and soon after, a skilled contractor began the noble task of repairing the roof. Once upon a time, there was a great deal of effort was involved, yet it was gratifying to engage in something concrete, something that drew us even nearer to one another. As the day drew to a close, after hours spent clearing away remnants and sifting through cherished possessions, Henry and I found ourselves on my porch, gazing at the vibrant hues of the sunset painting the sky over Maplewood Lane. The sky erupted in a symphony of colors, with vibrant pinks, fiery oranges, and deep purples swirling together in a breathtaking display. Did you hear what Henry said, shattering the stillness that hung in the air?" "I've been reflecting deeply on your words from the other night, about the journey of figuring this out together." I turned to gaze at him, my heart fluttering, as he inhaled deeply, his face a blend of seriousness and hope. "Time is precious, Linda, and I can't afford to let it slip away any longer. Life is fleeting, and I have already wandered through too much of it in solitude. I long to be by your side, if you would welcome me there." Emotions surged within me, and I fought to keep my vision clear, determined not to let a single moment of this slip away. "Henry, I share your sentiments. For what feels like an eternity, I wandered through solitude, unaware of the deep yearning within me. It wasn't until you stepped into my world that I truly understood the significance of your presence." He extended his hand toward mine, his grip enveloping me with warmth and assurance. "Then, let us embark on this journey. Come, let us weave a life together in whatever form it may take." I nodded, embracing a wave of tranquility and joy that had eluded me for so long. United as one, the ensuing weeks unfolded like a tempest of feelings and choices. Henry's house had been mended, yet he found himself at my place more often, to the point where it seemed as if we were already sharing a life together. We shared our dreams of what lies ahead, weaving tales of intertwining lives, adventures across distant lands, and the beauty of aging side by side. It was a thrilling blend of excitement, fear, and wonder, all intertwined in a single moment. On a brisk October morning, we chose to stroll through the neighborhood, savoring the vibrant fall colors and the refreshing cool air. As we wandered together, fingers intertwined, a profound sense of peace washed over me. As if I had at last discovered where I truly belonged in this vast tapestry of life, you know, Henry said. As we passed a particularly beautiful maple tree, its leaves a fiery red. I think Margaret would have liked you. As I gazed upon him, astonishment washed over me. Is that so? He nodded, his eyes glimmering with the warmth of reminiscence. She often remarked that I required a companion who could challenge me. Someone possessing both a gentle heart and an unwavering spirit. Indeed, that is you, Linda. Tears welled up in my eyes once more, yet this time, I embraced them instead of trying to chase them away. Gratitude flows to you, Henry. That holds greater significance for me than you might realize. He paused in his steps, pivoting to meet my gaze, gently clasping my hands within his own. Linda. Though the years have passed us by, I believe there are still many beautiful chapters left to write. And I wish to share each and every one with you. I smiled through my tears, experiencing a joy so deep it nearly ached. I desire that as well, Henry, more than anything else in the world. He leaned in and kissed me then. A gentle, tender kiss that felt like a promise. In that moment, enveloped by the beauty of the season and the warmth of his love, I understood that this was merely the beginning of something truly beautiful. As we strolled along, the sun casting its warm glow upon us and the leaves crackling underfoot, a profound sense of gratitude washed over me for Henry, for the life we were crafting side by side, and for the serendipitous kindness that had led us to this very moment. Life had tossed us a few unexpected twists, yet we emerged from the tempest, fortified and resilient. Gazing into the horizon of what lies ahead, I felt a deep assurance that whatever trials awaited us, we would confront them side by side. For it is often in the most unforeseen moments that the most exquisite treasures of life reveal themselves.